Greg here on the third floor. I'm here with Cody Hyatt and Patrick Healy, and we're talking Outcasts. Quick disclaimer, when we filmed this, the M3 was still in open beta, so some of the details we talk about might change, but thematically everything should remain about the same. So in 3rd edition, the Outcast got a new duel master. Out of the Bayou, we have Zipp now can be played as Outcasts. So if I see Outcasts Zipp on the other side of the table, what can I expect to see?
An annoying master who's going to get in your face and make your life pretty miserable.
Okay, what makes him annoying?
So he has a lot of little auras. He has chatty, so you have to pick a card to take an interact. He has a quick action where if you take any non-walk action within 6 of him, you have to meet a target 10 willpower duel or the action fails.
Okay, so we said, that's not a high duel to make, but once again, it's annoying.
Sure, and can drain the hand.
Yeah, you flip a 1 on that willpower duel. Okay, what if you drew a really good hand that turn? Now I'm pitching an 8, a 9.
Yep.
God forbid I'm pitching a 13.
So that's annoying.
Yeah, it's very annoying.
I would assume with his jetpack, he's mobile?
Yeah.
He's movement 8 with flight.
Wow, okay. That's very, very mobile.
And he also has a concealment aura coming off that jetpack of 2 inches.
Oh, that's nice.
So all models within 2 of him have concealment.
Including himself.
Yes.
Very, very nice. Mm-hmm. So with all that movement and things like that, what is Zipp doing on the table?
He's going to get in your face and drop some piano markers, probably turn 1.
Okay, wait a minute. What are piano markers?
Dropping pianos straight out of the sky. They're 40 mil blocking, impassable, destructible markers.
Okay.
You can pitch 2 cards, up to 2 cards, to add an additional marker for each card pitched. So you can drop 3 pianos in your face.
Okay.
You can vomit these things out.
Yeah, you can interact to remove them, but again, you're pitching a card because there's chatty aura. You're wasting AP this way.
Then he's just dragging your models around.
I didn't even think about that. You need to do an interact action to take care of destructible terrain.
Yeah.
So if Zipp is right there.
Interesting.
You have to meet that 10 willpower.
Yeah.
He's got his bonus action up.
You have to spend an AP.
It's just like, do I really want to do this?
I'm getting the annoying feeling now. Do you think that he's a potential hire outside from another Outcast master, which potentially brings Zipp in?
Yeah, he's great for that because the thing about Zipp is he doesn't really do anything with his crew.
Okay.
Generally, Zipp's going to be up there doing his own thing, and then his crew's kind of doing the work, which makes sense just from a fluff point of view to Zipp. Zipp there, look at me, I'm doing all this stuff, and his crew's doing all the work back there.
Wow, okay.
So he doesn't really interact that much with his crew. So he's great just to hire his own master, and he can run off and do his own thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, almost everyone in his crew has an ability showboating, so when they cheat during their activation, they can draw a card at the end of their activation. So meeting that theme, he's all up in your face, look at me, drawing extra cards, and he doesn't really do much for...
I'm in a duel, and you're Zipp, and during a normal duel, you cheat, and at the end of your activation, you just get to draw a card.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter whether I won the duel, whether I was cheating to get better, so I could throw garbage cards, and I'm going to be cycling cards.
The opponent flips a 13, you don't really want to meet it, pitch a 1, draw it back up.
Gotcha.
And you have to have the card to pitch, and it's nothing to trigger off discard. So the piano markers, if you discard for that, that's not a cheating. So you don't get it off of that. But it's nice.
So he's got
a little bonus.
It sounds like he has a little bit of a hand pressure, obviously, with what you want to do with those piano markers, but he's doing some cycling. I would imagine things get tight, though, as your hand gets smaller, right?
Yeah.
Because you're a little bit more restricted on what you can, cheat out. And then, obviously, if I'm activating Zipp and I've only got a 3-card hand, it's going to be tough to be getting those extra piano markers. Interesting.
And then we didn't even talk about it. I mean, one of his biggest thing is he's just moving your models around.
How so?
So, first of all, his melee attack is a size duel. So, defensive and willpower triggers aren't going off.
Interesting. Okay.
And then he just picks you up and throws you 3 inches, as well as damaging you.
Okay.
Places you 3 inches.
Gotcha.
Which, by the way, is bigger than a piano marker, so you can throw those out of a piano marker.
Nice.
He's got a trigger to place back with you.
Mm-hmm.
His gun attack, his Zipp Zapper, damages you and then can move you as well. With a crow trigger to push you 3 inches, and then if you don't ditch a card, pushes you 3 more inches.
Interesting.
Yeah. The Zipp Zapper ignores concealment and cover, so he's shooting right past those piano markers.
That's nice. That's nice.
So it's just, once again, it's just any plan you have just isn't going to work because he's just annoying the crap out of you.
And how does his totem work?
So his totem has an ability where if a model with flight moves past him or starts a walk next to him, he can throw the wrench on, hitch a ride with that flying model, and be placed at the end of the movement. He also can heal constructs, and he has chain gang, so he can help move other models. He's a nice little mobility piece, a little tech piece.
Yeah. Is there a benefit of always having him near Zipp? Not really. Okay.
Not really.
So
you probably want him more.
Well?
You want him more near the rest of the crew, honestly, probably
helping with their movement.
He can move with them and stuff.
Very, very cool.
Doesn't really care about him, as most of his ability names will sort of say. Like his abilities are, "Am I really helping?" He's kind of just along for the ride.
Very, very cool. How resilient? How hard is it to kill Zipp?
Oh, it's very hard. He's got a mass defensive trigger, which after resolving, just place him 6 inches somewhere else. So you're probably getting one hit on Zipp.
Yeah.
Got it.
Once again, that annoyance thing.
Placed behind a wall, building. 6 inches is a lot of space.
Yeah. With all that movement shenanigans, it's easy for him, I would imagine, to kind of get out of the way.
Yes.
So get in there, do what he needs to do, and then potentially just...
And something to mention, he's move 8. So the way disengage actions work now, even if he loses by 3, he's still moving 5 inches.
He's still getting that disengagement.
Still moving 5 inches.
Yeah. Very, very cool. All right, that's Zipp. All right, so Zipp's on the table. I'm expecting a bunch of infamous models. And with one thing that you guys mentioned just before was, kind of Zipp's doing his own thing and his crew is kind of doing their own thing. It sounds like Zipp doesn't really need his crew in order to be a whole master. Does the crew need him? Or are they pretty independent as well?
They're pretty independent of him. They have a lot of synergies inside of themselves.
They do. Mm-hmm. So what is that infamous crew doing then? What models am I going to see?
So the model that comes in his box, the Iron Skeeter, is a support model.
Okay.
So while Zipp is off doing his own thing, he's the guy providing support. So he has the concealment aura as well, same thing as Zipp, and he has Fly With Me, which is a quick action. Choose where he places 4 inches. Mm-hmm. But if a model, he can also choose a model within 2 that's of a lower size and take that model with him.
Oh, that's nice.
Place him base to base.
That's nice.
So he starts within 2 inches of a friendly model. He places 4, then that model places the base contact with him.
Gotcha. And what size is an Iron Skeeter?
They're 3.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. So that's
the rest of the crew.
That's a potential out of faction higher than I would imagine, too, if you want to add some mobility.
And this is one of the few movement tricks that's not restricted to non-master.
Interesting. Right. So I've got a Vic.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I could be using an Iron Skeeter to bring a Vic along. Interesting. And so Iron Skeeters are support. How about damage dealing? What kind of damage dealing does Infamous have?
His 2 henchmen.
Okay.
Maharoha and the First Mate.
All right. Let's talk about First Mate.
Yeah. So First Mate is a squirrely little guy. Has stealth. So actions outside of 6 will fail. He can't be targeted by actions outside of 6. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Makes sense. He's a little catfish. He's this squirrely little dude. And he also has a butterfly jump. So that's any action that's resolved against him after it's finished, he can move 3 inches.
But he's a beater.
He's a beater. He's 2/3/5 with a built-in ram for crit strike. So effectively min 3.
Gotcha.
He is actually one of the few models that has a little bit of synergy with Zipp. Because he has pounce. So if an enemy model ends a movement engaged by him, and if it's not that enemy's activation, like Zipp throws it in, Zipp zaps it in, he gains fast.
So you could have Zipp grabbing people, dropping them next to the First Mate, and then the First Mate's just hitting them.
Gets fast. Now he's taking 3.
That's
cool.
3
swings at him.
That's cool.
And he's also good at doing schemes after he's done beating because he has a leap.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Expensive, cheap model?
They're pretty expensive.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, both of his henchmen are fairly expensive. The Iron Skeeters, I believe, are 7 soulstones as well. So you're looking at some pricey models there.
Gosh, you're going to have to make some decisions.
Oh, yes.
Gotcha. Any cheaper Infamous models that maybe can fill in some of those gaps?
He's got a few things like Flying Piglets. They're 3 inches, or they're 3 Soulstone cost little flyers. They don't do much, really. They can give out slow, but for the most part, they're going to fly around, be in the wing. They can draw ski markers. They're not insignificant anymore.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So potential real cheap scheme runner. Cool. Any other Infamous models we need to think about?
Maris LaCroix.
Ooh, tell me about that.
Shockwave Queen.
Okay.
So she's got a normal shockwave action. Places shockwave markers down. I believe it's a move 12 duel, I believe. But it's going to basically hand out some damage. But then she's got an interesting bonus action, which what she does is she pitches called Bombs Away.
Okay.
It drops a shockwave marker. But she can pitch up to 3 more cards to drop 3 more shockwave markers. And then the damage goes up depending on how many cards I pitched.
Interesting.
So if I pitch 3 more, it becomes a damage 4 shockwave.
So it sounds like there's a lot of decisions to be made here as far as hand management with this crew, especially if you're bringing Maris and you've got Zipp because of those discards, because of the cheating and having to be a little bit smarter about cheating. So that's
those effectively become you're missing out on a high card because you're pitching those cards.
That makes a ton of sense. Any other versatile models that are outside of the infamous keyword in Outcasts?
We didn't talk much about Mancha because he's the other big beater.
Please.
He's 10 stones, so he's expensive. He's expensive as well, but he has Flurry, and he's a min 3 beater. And all of his triggers are pretty great. First of all, on the attack, just base. If he removes a ski marker within, I believe it's 2 inches of the target, you gain injured.
Ooh,
That's just straight up. And he's min 3. And then he has a trigger to remove conditions off you and do extra damage for the conditions. And he has slow.
Nice.
He's great. And
he's got a built-in defensive trigger to hit you back. And then if he ends his activation near one of those piano markers, well, he gains shielded too.
So he sounds like stylistically a little bit more of a straightforward beater versus the first mate. So you've almost got, 2 expensive, beaters. Models, and you take both, which is going to be expensive, or kind of got 2 style of beaters to choose from. That's cool.
And then decided, do I need shockwaves? You might take Maris. Another potential hire if you need a lot of scheme running done. The Midnight Stalker. It's a versatile model.
Okay.
But if pretty fast, so he can get to another corner, and if Zipp can't see him, who's probably off running around on his own in another corner, he gains the infamous keyword as well, which might help out with some stuff.
And potentially doing the opposite flank, right? Yeah. So if I'm thinking Zipp this way, I could go Midnight Stalker that way. Okay.
Midnight has showboating too.
Oh, does he really? Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. Very, very cool. So if I'm playing Zipp and I've got an infamous crew, what am I afraid of coming at me from the other side of the table?
Control, both conditions and, like we said, attacking your hand. Remember we said you need cards to discard to get the showboating trigger. Now, showboating is still just a bonus. You don't plan on it, but it's a nice little bonus hand refill. But you take that bonus away, they lose some efficiency. Sure. The stats aren't always great in this crew, so having that card refilling is always nice.
So if you can add to the hand pressure that Zipp already has because of just built into who he is, that could be tough.
And then as terms of going after Zipp himself, he's an oddity for Masters where his defense is actually higher than his willpower.
Okay.
He's def 6, willpower 5.
And he doesn't have that trigger on his willpower. So if you're attacking his willpower, he doesn't get to place within 6. He's going to have concealment. So if you're attacking his willpower with some sort of actions that aren't the claw, he's going to get concealment aura. But if you can attack him with
he's not going to be able to run away.
Melee attacks that attack willpower, he's going to.
That makes sense. So what kind of style is this crew in general? Like, what kind of player would enjoy playing this crew?
I myself like to run denied flank in almost any tabletop war game.
Okay.
And I think he is perfect at that because he can run a complete side by himself. No matter what you throw at him, he's going to place around, piano marker here, fly over there, and sort of run that side. And if you have some sort of murder bally crew on the other side, you're going to run that flank.
Gotcha.
If you just like to disrupt your opponent, he's going to move their models around. He's going to tax their hand. So he's very disruptive. So if that appeals to you, like I know my opponent's got a plan to do this, I'm going to break it up.
People who like saying no.
No.
So he's also fast enough to get where you need him to be too, right? So on the denied flank, he's fast enough to run that. But to your point, if you need him to annoy a very specific combo that's happening or a specific model, he's able to
any kind of bubble crew, he's just going to disrupt that bubble.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, that's Zipp.